Hello, welcome back. Another Monday means one thing. It's League One Roundup live. Can you see me? Can you hear me loudly and clearly? Let me know down below in the chat. It is good to be back. We are discussing 33 goals in 12 games over the weekend. It's been a busy weekend. Lots of goals, lots of big talking points. The table is swaying from side to side. Hello, guys. Welcome back. And of course, for today, we have got a very special guest. He's been on before. He's back by not so much popular demand. He's our mate, our hero. He's Jake, Lincoln City fan who, we want to add him to the stream, not remove him from the stream. Hello, Jake. How you doing, friend?
Well, I mean, I was all good until you gave me that introduction, mate. I was wondering what that's all about. That's not what you were saying before we went live, but no,
absolutely. Welcome to the show, Jake. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. We have gone for the Fleetwood Town away top, the latest one. Hummel is the sponsor. Hello, Brandon. Hello, Mother. Hello, Chris. Hello, Tony. Yes, big game for Fleetwood tomorrow. We will come to Fleetwood in just a moment. Hello, Tom. Hello, Pal. Hello, Cambridge United fan Zach. Hello, Ethan. Hello, the Memorial Fleetwood. Hello, guys. We are going to quickly go into today's games. As you guys know, what will happen? We do 3 sections of 4 games. Talk about them about a minute and a half each. And if you are watching, there are going to be timestamps down below after this stream, so you can see when your team are on. Then we're going to speak to Katie, who is a Wigan Athletic fan. Talking about Wigan, again, great start to the season, currently sitting that top 2, 31 points from 15 games. We'll end talking about Tuesday night's fixtures. I think there's 7 of them. And then we will go to a Q&A for the last 15 or 20 minutes. But Jake, are you ready to preview some League One games?
Of course, mate. Absolutely. I've spent all day doing a bit of research, so I'm more than happy to crack on and talk some football.
Absolutely. And Cambridge are up to 15th. Jake, 19 points from 15 games, 1-0 over AFC Wimbledon. An AFC Wimbledon side that started well, only 1 win in the last 8 and drawn 2 of those, lost 5. Lost the last 4 away, drawn, lost 4, from the first 8 away games. They have drawn 1. How do you assess both sides? Both were kind of tipped for the bottom 4, both quite comfortably above that at the moment.
Well, that 1 win in 8 came at the hands of my Lincoln City. Obviously, you wouldn't mention that without that, would you, Nappers? But in terms of Wimbledon, really, when I watched them the other night on Tuesday, really impressed with them, really. The only issue is obviously that we still talk about it, but they've lost Joe Pigott. They looked a bit toothless, I thought, going forward on Saturday at Cambridge, having just watched the highlights. Cambridge, another side that I really like, playing some good football under Bonner, aren't they? We did beat them 5-1 earlier in the year, but they look really good. And obviously, it was a bit of a weird goal, wasn't it? That split the game on Saturday. A header from looked like outside the box from the Brighton loanee Weir, but Cambridge would sort of take any points that they can get at this point in the season, and it's really important for them. So, good win for Cambridge. Wimbledon probably need to pick up away from home, sort of just to make sure they stay well clear of that dotted line. But I wouldn't be worried about either side, sort of.
Absolutely, and at home they're doing quite well at the moment. Cambridge, I think it's 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 defeats, and when you played sides like Ipswich and you're battling sides against your Wimbledons, your Gillinghams, your Fleetwoods, who are 3 sides that are going to be down with you. Your aim is to kind of come out with it, try and get those 1.5 points a game, and they've got exactly that. Both sides doing well, both sides fighting. And Mark Bonner, I'm a big fan of. Had a good little career. Been a manager for a short period of time. Mark Robinson again, short period of time, came in. Both have worked their way up, and I really like that about both sides. Both are, working hard, improving week on week. But we talk about working hard. CHARLTON, Nigel Atkins was sacked, a first managerial casualty of the season. Came slightly later than I expected. Johnny Jackson now at the helm, currently as assistant manager. Jason Ewell assistant. So you've got already there two Charlton legends. And if you look at the infrastructure, when Charlton have done well, you know, the Lee Bowyer, Alan Kirbishley done very well there at Charlton. Another one of their own, I think, could absolutely do that. Atkins, he's a good manager, and I still believe he's got something to offer the game. Obviously, he, you know, beat Fleetwood. You beat him 2-1 a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? And then they got two good results over the last few weeks. Sunderland away, 1-0 result, ruined a lot of accumulators. And Doncaster 4-0, 2 clean sheets, 5 goals. You know, Stockley with his 6th goal of the season. I think it's a good move. I think if you give it Johnny Jackson till the end of the season at least, I don't think players is in the question. I think you've got to forget that now. And he just wants to get the Charlton identity back, which is passionate, go to the end, and fighting spirit. And they had that under Bowyer. Under Atkins, I felt we're a bit slow, a bit timid, a bit too nice. And nice teams don't win in League One, as we know, Jay. But Doncaster, 8 games away from home this year, 8 defeats. They have scored 17 goals in 7 games. They've conceded 20 goals in their 8 away games. Doncaster at home, Jake, are quite all right. They'll be about 16th, 17th. Away from home, not great. How long would you give Richie Wellens now? Because they aren't bottom, they're 23rd. They're 4 points adrift at the moment. But how long would you give him?
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? It was a bit of a gamble bringing Richie Wellens in based off the fact that, you know, he'd lost his job at Salford last year. Obviously did really well with Swindon. And it just looks like the experiment's not really worked so far, doesn't it? It looks like they brought in quite a large turnover of players over the summer window. They're taking a long time to click. There were some really good additions in there as well. Ben Close was a fantastic addition. The lad from Newcastle, the striker whose name's escaped me, he looks a really good addition as well. But you know, we're talking on a day where 3 managers out of the 92 have lost their jobs. You know, you've got Nuno at Spurs, Shop at Barnsley, and then Cox at Scunthorpe. You know, you especially looking at Shop at Barnsley and Cox at Scunthorpe, both of their teams were in the relegation zone. Doncaster aren't far away from that predicament themselves. Obviously, 23rd in the table, 11 points, 15 games. It's not a great start. Looks like the experiment's not worked. So I'm probably thinking Wellens maybe has 3 jobs to save his job. 3 games to save his job, and you know we'll be playing him I think in a couple of weeks. But yeah, well, it's an experiment that doesn't look like it's worked for Doncaster fans who were really sort of optimistic at the start of the season, weren't they, that they were going to do well. But unfortunately, it just doesn't look like it's worked out for Wellens, and he's probably looking towards the last and the sort of back chapters of his time at Doncaster.
Yeah, I agree. Losing Ben Whiteman in January was absolutely massive. And you know, you talk about key players and key moments. He is that. And I thought they kind of scrambled that squad together, if I'm honest with you. It's like, oh, he's available, we'll take him. And the squad's just come available of players maybe that teams didn't want. And on paper, they've got a lot of okay League One players. I like Dolberg in goal. I think he's, you know, a good player. I like Knight Nolan at fullback. I think he's, you know, a handy addition from Cambridge. I like Ben Close. I like Doodoo up front. I think, you know, they've got a couple of young lads up there as well. But again, Doncaster needs wins. They need points on the board. The first team in League One to hit double figures, 10 defeats from 15. Cheltenham 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Cheltenham again. They keep fighting, don't they? And 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 2-2. Matty Blade did score an own goal, actually. Scored a late equaliser. But Sheffield Wednesday, Jay, 7 draws from the first 15 games. They've drawn the last 4 games. They're unbeaten in 5. It's great. But they've only collected 7 points from those 15 games. Sheffield Wednesday, what do you think is that little bit of a factor at the moment? Because you've seen them lately. You saw them draw 1-1. Montema got that goal for you that day. What is that difference between turning those draws into wins at the moment?
I think the issue is the back 4. It looks pretty settled, but they've just got a mistake in them. You look at the names that are in that back 4 as well. Like Iorfa, Che Dunkley, Peacock Farrell, all have got experience higher up in the pyramid. They've just got a mistake in them. That's the problem. You look at Sheffield Wednesday and you don't look at them and think they're going to keep a clean sheet. And obviously, not keeping clean sheets is going to be a massive factor of them, because you know Sheffield Wednesday are a massive football club. When I went there, sort of 8 or 9 days ago now, you know, you get to the ground and you think, my God, like this undercarriage is bigger than our entire stadium. And you know the crowd was fantastic, and you know, they just deserve a lot more. Darren Moore doesn't seem to be doing his job right, and I'm not sure what it is, but it just the back four, they've got a mistake in them. Set pieces again. You know, the final goal, the Matty Blair goal, the 91st minute came from a set piece as well. So, you know, they're just gonna have to start being a bit more hard. They're gonna, you know, just gotta be a bit more physical, I think, because they're just like Charlton were. But Wednesday seems to be picking up points at a faster rate than Charlton. They just seem a bit too soft. I don't know what you think, Nappers.
Oh, I agree. I thought when I watched them against Bolton, they played this kind of three at the back. So they did change to a four, and it got them the win in the end. But they tried to play out from the back, tried playing this high line, and it didn't work every time. Dominic Athlon got in behind, and you got Sarsic, who made good runs now at Stockport. I just found like it was on another day they don't win that game of football. But Cheltenham, 19 points from those first 15. They've won 5, drawn 4. An unbelievable start, and Kyle Vassell in on the goals as well. But we talk about conceding goals, we concede about stopping mistakes. MK Don's back on the score sheet, back up to 25 points. Ayalsa with his 50th career goal. But Crewe could have been 1-0 up. They ended up 1-0 down, got it back to 1-1, lost 4-1. It's a big, big pivotal moment. 1 winning 15 for them, Jay. They've drawn 5, lost 9. They're conceding goals. Dave Artell is a very good manager. He's a legend there. But how long for you personally? Because I don't think it can carry on much longer, because they have lost the last 4 games. You know, and I think personally at 0-0, they're quite a decent side. They're quite a little bit of a handful. They've got some good players. But as soon as that goal goes in, that mentality at Crewe, it is pathetic, it is spineless, it's weak, there's too many strong words on it, really. As soon as you can see the goal, it's like school children. They drop their heads. And in League One, that is not a Dave Artell side. Dave Artell sides have been resilient. If they go 1-0 down, they carry on. They get back into the game. They might not have the quality of MK Don, but their determination, their endeavour gets them back into that game. This is why I'm not worried about certain teams down there. But Crewe, they just seem to have given up, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and you know they're 7 points clear of behind Charlton at this early stage of the season. That's one hell of a gap to make up, isn't it? And this is the thing with Crewe. We sort of said it all along, didn't we? They've lost a lot of talent over the last 18 months or so too, and they've not adequately replaced it. You know, you backed Dave Artell as a manager, got them promoted. They were fairly strong last year, I thought. At the promoted sides, they were very good. And then, you know, it seems like losing Charlie Kirk seems to have just completely done them. Charlie Kirk, obviously a massive player for them. They got a very good fee for him from Charlton, but they've not put that money back into the squad, and that sort of shows because, you know, you look at Dave Artell and his management style, you expect a Crewe team to, you know, go a goal down, but bloody give you an hard time going about it, you know, going back, you know, and even when MK Don sort of, when Crewe saved, when MK missed a penalty, and MK, you know, the momentum should then swing in your favour, shouldn't it? And they just looked spineless. It didn't do anything. If anything, it gave MK Dons a new lease of life. And Peter Kioso, who I'm sure we'll probably get onto, but what an afternoon he had, tore them apart. But yeah, I'm really worried for Crewe. But in terms of sacking Dave Artell, will they do it? I think it's a Daniel Farker at Norwich situation, really. I think if Dave Artell takes them down, he could then take them back up. But I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank at Crewe, so I wouldn't be too worried about Dave Artell. But if I was a Crewe fan, I would be extremely worried with that team.
I agree. We'll come back to MK Dons later on in the show. I'm going to come to your comments just quickly. The comments will go to every 5 or 6 minutes. Then we have got a Q&A at the end. If you've got anything to ask me and Jay, we will do that down below. Katie is on in the next 10 to 15 minutes to talk about Wigan. Let's see what your guys are saying. Keep the questions coming. George Dobson's been quality for the last 2 games as well. Absolutely. He's always been a good player. Just needs a bit of confidence. Hello, Harley. Welcome to the show, my mate. Thank you for coming. Got to say fair play to us. Could have easily made an excuse after Sandy, but gave credit to us. I always like that about him. He'll always say it as it is. Sometimes I think he's a bit harsh in his own plays at times. The comments are on, mate. It's a live chat. The comments won't be on until it's uploaded as a video. Green Army, we are going to come to Plymouth in just a moment. But Fleetwood Sound 3, Wycombe 3. Fleetwood have scored 24 goals, which is the 11th most in the division, and conceded 24, which is the 7th most in the division. 3 wins, 5 draws, 6 defeats. It's 1 win in 8 for the Cod Army, but they are playing a Wycombe side that have won 9 from the first 15, unbeaten in 7, drawn 5, lost 2. And Wycombe did go 3-1 up through that front three of Brandon Hanlon, Adebayo, Akinfenwa, and Sam Vokes. Hanlon, brilliant. I think back to goal, he is as good a striker as anyone in League One. Bullies out centre half Tom Clark, gets in behind, agility, great finish below Alex Cairns. Then, Fleetwood do score a good goal before that. Danny Andrew, 5th goal of the season, our top goal scorer from the left back, level with Jed Garner. And then Adebayo, Akinfenwa, Sam Vokes, good finishes. But again, defensively, input from Fleetwood, horrendous at times, and that could be the Achilles heel. But Fleetwood did really well to get back into the game. Simon Grayson, I think, is doing a very, very good job at Fleetwood at the moment. Under difficult circumstances, made a treble sub, bringing Paddy Lane, Joe Garner, and Shaden Morrison. That leveled the score at 3-3. But Wycombe are 3rd on 31 points, Jake. Gareth Ainsworth maybe got it wrong the other day, but he's a good manager, isn't he? And he is the man to lead Wycombe back up.
Yeah, Gareth Ainsworth has a lot of credit in the Lincoln City Bank as well from his playing days here, so we have nothing but good words to say about him, really. Everyone was sort of looking at Wycombe in a different light this year, weren't they? Maybe 2 years ago, Wycombe won it, 3 years ago, even when they first came up, they were a team that always were looking to stay in the division, make sure you stay in. But since they got promoted and they've come back down, everyone's looking at Wycombe like, well, you've done it once, you can do it again. And, Wycombe, Ainsworth, is absolutely the perfect man to take them back up. The style of football suits the players. It looks like the supporters trust the manager, the board especially trust the manager. So it looks like a good fit overall. They've had some really good business over the summer. I like Brandon Hanlon. I know we were in for him. He chose to go there, which I can completely understand. And then Sam Vokes, another goal scorer who's scoring goals for fun at this level and probably shouldn't be playing down here anyway. But yeah, Ainsworth, top manager, probably is looking likely to take Wycombe back up at this minute in time.
I agree. Top bloke, and Fleetwood will come back to in just a moment. Gillingham 0, Accrington 0. That's only 1 loss in 5 for Stanley now. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. They're averaging about 1.33 points a game, which is overall is 60 points, which is a very good season for Accrington. Stanley, Gillingham still averaging that 1 point a game mark. They're getting better. They have drawn 7 of those, first 15, 16 games. 0-0. Pretty much of a boring game. Gillingham probably deserved to win. Toby Savin in the deal's goal, keeping kind of Gillingham at bay, really. But Gillingham, I think, will just be fine this year. Accrington, I don't even discuss, really, as relegation favourites anymore. John Coleman is the Sean Dyche League One. Jake, Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1. Shrewsbury were yet to win away. They'd only had the 1 point from the first 7 games coming into it. They got 3 really tough games after this in Rotherham away, Cheltenham away, and Sunderland at home. That's where they do pick up the points at home, really. But for you guys, 1 loss in 6 now. You've won 2 of those, drawn the other 3. How are you assessing your first season? Because it's a bit up and down, really.
Yeah, it's difficult, really. We had the really high expectations of last year, didn't we? And a lot of Lincoln City fans were really disappointed that we didn't beat Shrewsbury on Saturday, which I can understand because by half time I felt we should have been 2 or 3 out of sight. It's a difficult one, isn't it? I thought we've lost players. I say this every time that I come onto these things. Brennan Johnson playing at the top end of the Championship, Morgan Rogers playing for the best team in the Championship. You lose Alex Palmer, George Grant, all playing at a very good level now. And it's difficult because Appleton he had those expectations put on his shoulders and Lincoln fans are thinking, oh, right, let's get there again. But it's completely unrealistic. The wage cap's gone. The teams in the league are spending big bucks now, which we just have to get to grips with. And we've recruited well, I thought, in terms of the game on Saturday. Daniel Alundala, who scored at Wigan on Tuesday, had a great chance to put us 1-0 up in the first 5 minutes. Didn't do it. Colin McGrandle's getting another goal, which is really good. He's been really impressive this year. Just come back from an injury. We're looking to have Bridcut and Scully back next for the Doncaster game after the break, and then after the second half, Shrewsbury completely picked it up. I know they don't class as set pieces, but that long throw that they've got really dangerous. Appleton said after the game where we would have been better off just pumping it back into midfield rather than putting it out of play because the long throw is an absolute weapon that they've got, and they utilise it to good effect. Lutley, he rose the highest and put it past Josh Griffiths. Still yet to keep a clean sheet this year. That's really bad considering how many we kept early on last year. But sort of from then, Shrewsbury probably just about edged it, and I would say it was probably the right result. But obviously, as a Lincoln fan, based off last year and based off the fact that we want to get higher than where we are in the league table, disappointing. But for Shrewsbury, a really good point on the road, and they'll probably be looking to use that as a bit of a kickstart now.
Absolutely. I believe it's the only side in League One yet to keep a clean sheet yet this year. A question from Harley, actually. Teddy Bishop, how's he doing at Lincoln this year? Obviously signed from Ipswich. You've got a lot of good players in that midfield area. The likes of McGrandles, who you mentioned, who scored the other day, I thought was excellent, especially against Sunderland in that second leg. How's he getting on so far this year?
Well, unfortunately for Ted, it's a bit of a similar story to what it was like at Ipswich. He just picks up an injury. He's just prone to it. Speaking about Tuesday night when we played at Wigan, he sort of played on the left of a front three, not really his position. And when we moved him into the central midfield, he's brilliant. The thing about Teddy Bishop is he has such a turn of pace. He can just take it past two players as if they're not there. And he's fantastic for that, but his work rate lacked on Tuesday, I thought. Went off on Saturday with a concussion. So he probably won't be back until the Doncaster game after the break as well. But we're happy with Teddy. He's taken to the supporters really well and clearly puts the graft in. Produces some quality. Horrendous miss on Saturday. I don't know if you got to see it on the highlights, but back post about 3 yards out. He sees it late, but he should stick it in the net. He's a fantastic player, one that we can develop and sell on for money like we did with George Grant. So. Yeah, we're happy with Ted. He probably say he wants a few more goals, a few more assists, but for where we are on the table and what we can look to achieve this year, Teddy Bishop's about the right sort of level for us.
There you go. Oxford 3, Morecambe 1. Now Morecambe, I must admit, I think goals galore against them. They've lost 4 in the last 5. They drew the other one, and they're just sitting above that relegation zone right now. But a great result for Oxford. Nearly doubled their points from this time last season. You always going to have goals in Matty Taylor. It's his 6th in 15, and up to 6th they go. They're only 4 points behind second and only 6 behind Plymouth. But Plymouth, for the next time we are going to, it's Plymouth 2. Ipswich 1, and Ipswich probably unlucky not to get a point from what I've seen of them. They are 11th to 7 points off the playoffs. They've won 5, drawn 5, lost 5. I said to Ipswich fans, come back to me after 15 games, and how would I assess them? Still a work in progress, getting better. Need that little bit more consistency. But if they win tomorrow, Saturday's gone, and it's all about that next game to see how good that win on Tuesday was. But you're playing Plymouth Argyle, Jake, who are top of the league. They're unbeaten in 15 games. They've won 6 of the first 9 at home, drawn the other 3. Unbelievable. So they're on 33 points now. You've got Hardy and Jeff Goldfront with 13 goals, combined. And you've got Grant, Broom, Kamara, Galloway in there. They're an outstanding football team. It was a packed out home park the other day. This Plymouth side, they're 15 unbeaten. And people say, no, wait until they eat Christmas. They just keep going and going and going. Can they go up?
Can they go up? It's a difficult one, isn't it, really? Because I personally think we've got to wait until the end of the January transfer window to see what the teams do, really. Plymouth could easily, Jeff Cott could be gone. A championship club could come in for some of their players. So really impressed with Plymouth, the way they're getting behind you, the way they press you, really impressive. And they, by all accounts, they did the same to Ipswich on Saturday. Showed a different side to their game. They came from behind. Ipswich went ahead, didn't they, at pretty early doors, and then 2 goals. They probably could have had a couple more as well from there. But yeah, difficult. Have to see who they recruit, because obviously you can't rely on a group of players to get you all the way through the season. They're going to need some help, aren't they? But from what they've sort of shown everybody so far this year, you can't rule them out, because they've probably been the best team that I've seen this year.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think they're entertaining. They weren't great the other day, and they got that win. They grind out results. They score goals early. They score goals late. And they're just fantastic. They just attack. They're a bombardment on the opposition goal at times. And Ipswich are a good side. I'm looking not to get a point. But a stat about Ipswich, the teams that they beat so far this season currently sit 10th, 14th, 16th, 9th. Sorry, 12th, 24th, 21st, 13th, and 22nd are the teams they beat this year, which they are beating sides below them. And I just worry sometimes against the teams above them how they're managing games, because they're all right against Fleetwood and Doncaster and those types of teams, which is good, which is a good trait to have. Beat the sides, you know, we're going to come and sit in, and you know, you can break them down with the quality. I just worry maybe when you play a better side, how you'll do. Personally, the sides that we've lost to is it 1st, 10th, 14th, 16th, and 9th, which you can see they've not really been tested yet. You know, they drew against Sheffield Wednesday. You know, they've been, you know, quite a mix, but overall they've got an outstanding squad. I like that Ipswich side, and it is a must-win. They go to Wigan tomorrow, who currently sit 3rd, so it's a big game for them tomorrow. Portsmouth 1, Bolton 0. We will be with Katie in just a few moments. We'll just rattle off these. Bolton haven't scored 8 of their 16 games this year. Again, a worry. They scored 22 in the other 8, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. That's just under 3 a game. They scored 4 against CHARLTON. They scored 2 against Shrewsbury. They're just goal-scoring machines, really. Rotherham, though, we're going to come to them. Paul's a great win at home. They've only lost, I think, 2 of the first few games at home. Great result. Rotherham, though. Rotherham 5, Sunderland 1, Jay. Smith, 11th and 12th goals of the season. Freddie Ladapo, 3 and 2. Aitway with another goal as well. Stewart did get Sunderland's goal. And McGee did get sent off. It was quite eventful. Sunderland's squad, though, is very good. They've got quite a lot of injuries at the moment. It is the 3rd loss in 6. 4-0 to Portsmouth, 1-0 to Charlton, and obviously 5-1. Rotherham are 9 unbeaten. They've won 7, drawn 2. They've only conceded 4. Most clean sheets in the division. And everyone's sleeping on Rotherham to finish in the top 2, because I certainly believe they've got a very good manager, very good squad, very good depth, very good formation, very good formula. Why can't this Rotherham side finish in the top 2, or if not, win the league?
I'm with you, Ben. I think they can. I've predicted them to go up automatically. They've got the know-how, haven't they? And this is one hell of a statement to the rest of the league. You know, Sunderland a couple of weeks ago were the big boys at the top, weren't they? They had games in hand, they had points on the board, and they were playing really good football. And then for them, they were dismantled, weren't they, on Saturday by Rotherham? And big up for Michael Smith, a known Geordie, to do the Shearer and the Kevin Nolan celebration in front of the well, I call it the Tom Hopper now, based off the playoffs, but we'll go with Shearer. He seems to be a bit more famous. But yeah, really impressive Rotherham. Really impressed when they came to us a couple of weeks ago. The only issue with them then was they weren't taking their opportunities. They had about maybe 8 or 9 opportunities to win the game, and they never did. And now the difference is they're taking the opportunities that they make. And yeah, they're a fantastic, well-oiled machine, aren't they? Paul Warren's a manager that's been there, done it before. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they won the league title, to be honest, at this point. The performances that they're putting in, unbelievable. And the squad are hitting form now, aren't they? Just at the right time, just to get them to Christmas, where they can reassess, get some new recruits that will aid for the quality that they've got. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they're Championship side next year whatsoever.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Well, we'll come to any question in a minute. We'll come to Katie in just a moment. If you could like the stream, guys, that would be massively appreciated. As long as if you're new, please subscribe. We're going to talk to Katie about Wigan against Burton, the next game against Fleetwood, and we'll talk about Wigan's form. Wigan have won their last 5 away games. They've only conceded 1. They play Fleetwood tomorrow away. Shit. It's going to be a tough game for both sides, I believe. But Katie, I believe, is with us. Now I'm going to bring her in. Big game. Hello, Katie.
Hiya.
So, Wigan Athletic currently sit in those top 2. 31 points. How do you assess it so far from a Wigan point of view?
The main thing for me is we've been great away, as you've said, but if you look at our home form, it's not good, really. We've been great, but that's the one thing that I'm just concerned about at the moment.
Yeah. And for me, personally, when I look at it, I always feel like you've always got a question, Wigan, at times where, oh, are they going to slip up there? I know you slipped up against MK Dons and you slipped up against Sheffield Wednesday, but you've always bounced back from it. Every time you've lost this season, you've won. Is that something you can take into it, that you are not losing kind of 2 or 3 in the bout? You've looked at Sunderland, they've lost 2 in the bout, they've lost 3 out of the last 6. Teams are going on bad runs. Sheffield Wednesday are on a bad run, Ports are on bad runs. Does that make you feel a bit more confident that you feel, oh, this group can bounce back and can go and get that win the next week?
Yeah, well, I trust Liam. Liam's interviews after a defeat or a win are always great. It's next game, like, we'll celebrate like today, tomorrow, and then it's straight back the next game. Or we've lost, can't dwell on it, next game we're looking forward to. And I think he's one of the main parts of that bounce back ability. It's down to him quite a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. And tomorrow you play the biggest team in Lancashire. You play Fleetwood tomorrow. Big game for you, really, because you can go back to that with, and you can put kind of the dilemma of winning under the floodlights this season. You've been struggling a bit. You might have won it the other day. Clocks go back, kind of put the floodlights on a bit earlier. But it is a big game. Go away from home. Keep up that, go for a 6th win. Can you see yourself getting a win? Because Fleetwood aren't as bad as this team. They are in the bottom 4 right now. They are 22nd, but they score a lot of goals and they have got a lot of fight in them.
Well, I think it's a tough game, because we can't win on Tuesday, so that's a problem. But I think sometimes we do underestimate not smaller sides, but sides that have been struggling. And it often takes us 20 minutes to get into a game because we're like, whoa, they're coming at us. We didn't expect that, sort of thing. So if Fleetwood get a goal early on, then it could be an issue.
Yeah, I agree. Would you like to score? And we're talking about sides that you might not anticipate coming at you. That we're going to choose that. We are here with Jake, who's a Lincoln fan. Jake, what do you think to say about that Lincoln-Wigan game? Because, again, a great result for Lincoln, but Wigan, again, choosing high at home, expected to win. Could have gone top of the league that day, I believe. Huge result, wasn't it?
Oh, for Lincoln, absolutely. And I thought we played really well. Wigan were probably subpar. I think Katie will probably admit that. We got in front pretty early on through Dan and London, really good goal, and then Wigan came out as obviously they had the disallowed goal for the handball. I'm not sure how we saw it because I never saw it. But yeah, really good result for Lincoln. Wigan were very subpar, hit the woodwork a few times, gave us a few scares, but once we had that second goal, really, I never really thought that we were going to throw it away or anything like that. But yeah, disappointed with the way that the Wigan played. Obviously, they had the chance to go top of the league. They didn't really throw it at us. Obviously, Charlie White not playing was a massive help for us. But yeah, really good performance from Lincoln. But I would have been worried if I was a Wigan fan that night.
Yeah, I agree. And King, just a few questions. Where do you see Wigan finishing this year? Because you don't really like me talking, because every time I talk you up, you lose the next game. Where do you realistically see yourself finishing? And so far, you've had a lot of key players. Who would you say they've been the main key player? Curtis Tilt scored an absolute worldie the other day. Brilliant goal. You've got James McLean, who scored 5 in 12 now. You've got Charlie White up there. You've got a lot of talent in that squad. So when are you going to finish? And usually think it's going to be that key player to why you're going to finish in that position?
See, top 2 would be nice, but I think people brought a lot of players in and thought, oh, that means they're automatically going for top 2. And they've made it quite clear, the board, that actually we don't have to get out of League One at the first attempt. Well, I see the first attempt after last season. But so top 6 for me would be absolutely fine. I wouldn't moan with top 6. And as for players that will get us there, well, I think it's more of a team effort, to be honest. I've seen that, is it McLean, Lang, Keane and White, between them, have got like the most goal contributions for a front 4 in the league. It's something like 31 altogether. So I think it's them 4 as a collective and Stephen Humphreys, when he gets playing more like he did on Saturday, I think it's more of a collective rather than a one person. I think a lot of people have put pressure on Charlie White to be that man that gets all the goals, and I just don't think it's going to be that way.
Well, Katie, thank you very much. All the best tomorrow. And Katie, again, top insight with Athletic. All the best, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. So we're going to go on to thank you to Katie for that. Now, Jake, we are going to go on to Tuesday's fixtures. Again, a lot of goals in the week. 7 games this week. We're going to go to the comments just before. In the last 2 games I've been on, we scored 4 goals. Over the same at Fleetwood tomorrow. James McLean, he's been brilliant, I feel. Did the business last year for us. He's moved on, so should do all the best. Ben, I love that. Come on, Fleetwood. I know a lot of the top teams will be seeing us for, hoping us to do well tomorrow, shall we say. And they're the Tuesday fixtures on your screen. Now, 7 of them we're going to dive into. We're just going to basically going to go home win or away win, basically. Jake, we're going to start off with the first game. Well, I'll let you see the ticket figures. But again, 7 big games in League One. I always see a 3-game week as the week, really, to go and get 9 points. It's a weird one because your momentum can totally change in a week, can't it? And Charlton, Rotherham, who are on a good run at the moment. They scored a lot of goals. I think there's 28 goals they've scored this season, and the 13 points from the last 5 games. You can see top of the the last 5-game form tree. But Charlton can make it 3 wins in literally 10 days. What are you saying? Rather than going away at a tough place.
I think this one's got draw written all over it, really. I think obviously the form that they're both in will sort of counteract each other. That'll be good for the teams around the top of the league and teams around the bottom of the league because that will help both ends of the table. But I can sort of see Rotherham for once having a difficult night in front of goal, and I think the bounce that Charlton have got could easily see them pick up a point. They've got the quality in that squad, haven't they? So I think they've got enough to go punch for punch with Rotherham, just about. So I'm probably going to predict a draw on that one.
Yeah, I think it'll be a draw. I think Rotherham will take it though. Just get out of jail, get out there while they're on a good bit of run. They're on a bit of a momentum building. Go and get a point. Short. Now, CREWE Doncaster, it's going to be the game that's who's worse than who, and probably the El Sacchio. We saw that on Saturday between Tottenham and Manchester United. And obviously, Tottenham manager had been sacked today. CREWE on 8 points, Doncaster on 11 points. Doncaster, no wins in 8 away, lost all their away games. CREWE, no win in 8. Where do you see this going? For me, I can see a CREWE winning this one just. And I mean just. And whoever scores first wins it.
Yeah, I've gone opposite you, Nappers. I've gone for Donny win. I think an away win's got to come at some point. And Doncaster are a better side than CREWE, from what I've basically seen every week on the highlights. And I think Doncaster have got that next gear, whereas CREWE potentially don't. So I've gone for an away win. They've got to break the duck at some point, haven't they? They've got to win away from home. So, yeah, Donny. But like you said, first goal wins it. I can see it being a 1-0 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I do think Doncaster have that little bit of fight in them. CREWE at home, losing 4 to Sunderland, losing 4 to MK the weekend, just maybe got that little bit of, hunger in the belly, if I right to say. Fleetwood against Wigan. Fleetwood, again, only 3 wins this season. I don't think Fleetwood are as bad as people say. I like the fact that we've got spirit. I think Sam Grayson is the right man for the job. I think he's doing a very good job, actually. We're 1 point per game. Wigan are expected to beat us, but Fleetwood, by the way, this season, after tomorrow, would have played 11 of the top 12, and we played 15 games this season after that. So it's a big game. They've only collected 8 points from those games: 1-1, drawn 5, lost 3. Big game. Where do you see it going?
Well, I notice how you've sort of not said anything about it, so you'll be predicting a Fleetwood win, I would guess. But... No.
I tried to be positive, but I do believe Wigan will get a 2-0 away win. I think hard to grind now. Got many goal scorers. We'll get the first goal. We'll see how. Fleetwood have been fortunate in some games as well to get back into it, if I may add. So I just think this time Wigan will be a bit too much for the Cod Army.
But Wigan on a Tuesday night, Nappers, it's their kryptonite, it seems. Obviously, they are away from home. Fleetwood score a lot of goals, don't they? So I can see this sort of big. You kept toe to toe with Wycombe over the weekend, who are probably just as good a side as Wigan. So I've gone for a draw in this one. I think Fleetwood can score as many as Wigan. You might concede 4, but you'll also score 4. And
I just want a clean sheet at this point. I am stressed, right? Watching us.
You're stressed. You're stressed, Nappers.
Honestly, I am the most intense person. I'm literally having mental breakdowns of watching our back 4 trying to defend. It is horrific, and I don't want to do it anymore. So, big game. Morecambe against Cambridge. Cambridge very solid, I find. They can grind out results. Morecambe should be really. This is a must-win for Morecambe. At home, a team that they came up with. No disrespect to Cambridge. They've got to get back to winning ways here, surely. And I do believe it'll be a draw in this one. I just think it'll be a great draw for Cambridge because it'll take them to the 20-point mark. Then the next goal is 25 points, 30 points, 35. Just little chunk to 5 for Cambridge. If they can get that away point tomorrow, but a point for me for Morecambe tomorrow is no good for them, really.
If you're Morecambe and you're coming up, you're surely thinking any games against a promoted side, you'd be looking to win, wouldn't you? So, but having seen Morecambe play at home this year, from a Lincoln point of view, they absolutely battered us. So, I think Morecambe will take the win on this one. Yes, Cambridge are a good side, but Tuesday night under the lights, I just feel like Cole Stockton's going to pull something out of the bag and give Morecambe fans up a little bit of, because they're only outside the bottom 4 on goal difference. So I think a win for Morecambe would sort of see that bottom 8 or 9 sort of just really squeeze together a bit tighter.
It is very tight. I'm just seeing from 22nd where Fleetwood are on 14 points to 11. There's only 6 points in it, and that is huge. 3-game week. This is what I tell you guys. 3-game week. You win all 3, and you've gone from 22nd to about 15th, and you're all of a sudden you're closer to the playoffs than you are the bottom 3 at this point in the season. It's absolutely crazy. As we go into the latest games, please keep liking the stream, guys. Let's try and get to 40. That'd be massively appreciated as we finish off on these games. Portsmouth against Cheltenham again. Could this be a big factor for the 3-game week? Cheltenham are very solid, got a great draw the other day, and have gone to big places this season and got results. Portsmouth away from home, got a good draw. Recently, again, they're a good side. How can they do this year, do you think, Cheltenham, and how do you think they'll do on Tuesday?
Cheltenham are a good side, aren't they? Under Michael Duff, they know how to play the right football. They've got a good friend of mine, Ellis Chapman, playing them in midfield, so I've got nothing but nice words to say about them. Really like Cheltenham, really deserve the point against Sheffield Wednesday. And I don't think they'll fear going to Portsmouth, really. I don't think there's a reason to. Danny Cowley, he seems to be struggling. Maybe it's just the football club. He's not quite turning them around as quickly as our supporters what they really want. And I think Tuesday night's going to be another frustrating one. And hopefully this doesn't mean Danny Cowley follows me on Twitter. But I think Cheltenham are going to go there and frustrate the living hell out of Pompey. And I think I'm going to back them to go there and win.
Yeah, I agree. And when I see they went to Portsmouth, they got results against bigger sides this year, and beat Charlton a few weeks ago. Drew against Sheffield Wednesday. They're a very frustrating team. They beat Oxford a few weeks ago. They're a great side. They score goals, they keep clean sheets, and Portsmouth have been frustrated this year. Sheffield Wednesday against Sunderland. Now, how big, by the way, the momentum is this? If Sheffield Wednesday don't win this, they could go 8 points away from their playoffs. It is absolutely pivotal in their season, really, to get a win here. But Sunderland need a win. They need to bounce back. They cannot lose 3 in a row. All season, I have said, Jake, this Sunderland side got a different mentality. They just tune out wins, they tune out performances. They'll bounce back. I think a draw in this game. I think both sides. Sunderland would take a point. Wednesday won't, because Wednesday cannot keep drawing. They cannot. They need to turn those draws into wins, because they haven't been that bad. They just need to be a bit more consistent and stop those silly mistakes and just be a bit more clinical at the other end. If I was going to go for a result, I'd probably go for a 1-1 draw.
Well, these are the two everybody's cup finals, aren't they? In this level, apparently, from what you believe on social media.
Yeah.
So, I just remember talking to a Wednesday fan on the tram home the other week. It was our cup final, but we played in playoff final, so we'll ignore that. But yeah, it's a really big game, and you just wonder what that 5-1 defeat for Sunderland's done to their mentality, and everything regarding Streaky Lee, the confidence of that Sunderland changing room might be a little bit battered, and I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go for a draw, because Sheffield Wednesday are the draw specialists at this point, and then you've got Sunderland, who will just want to make sure they don't lose again, won't they? And I don't know, it can just be, I can just see it drowning out to be a 0-0 or a 1-1 or just something like that, where both teams have opportunities but don't take them.
I just hope both sides go for it, literally jumpers for goalpost type of stuff. And Wickham against Ipswich, Wickham on a good run at the moment, fighting for that top two. Again, this is a type of game they've got absolutely nothing to lose, absolutely everything to gain. Ipswich need to go there and put on a show. They have done that in many different games recently. I think they've been super against Doncaster. They put on a great performance against Portsmouth recently. They scored 10 goals in those 2 games. And they are seem to be better when the pressure is off, and you kind of thinking, what are they going to do tonight? They will surprise you, and they can just tune out performances just like that. So it is a big game. They can go 4 behind with a win. But I said this when they beat Fleetwood. It's all about winning and winning and winning. If you win a game and you lose the next one, and you get 1.5, it means you've got a win-win-lose if you're gonna lose, and then you're still tuning out at least kind of over a season. You're going to churn out nearly 2 points a game marker, really. But I just don't know where this is going to go. I think this could go anywhere. I really do. But what's going to go thing? I just think for the more solidarity of him at home, they've not lost at home yet. I think it's 6 wins from 6. The last time they were there, they scored in the last minute through Ryan Tazza-Foley, brace. I think Wickham got this 2-0. I really do. I just think it's a bit of a loose cannon. I know they scored 30 goals, but I just think Wickham a bit more steady.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nappers. Wickham at home, straight on the betting sheet for me. They don't lose there, do they? Even when they're a goal down in the 95th minute, they still somehow win the game. I think there's just something about the team, isn't there, that they're really thriving under the pressure that we sort of spoke about at the top of the show. And I don't think you especially with how sort of delicate Ipswich are, and I just think Wickham have got far too much for them. I think they're far too street smart to let a team like Ipswich come and turn them over.
Absolutely, and Ipswich are a fantastic footballing side. That is the end, but we have gone for a 10-minute Q&A. We've got about 10 or 11 minutes to ask me and Jake everything. Jake, just before we do, you can promote the Lincoln City podcast that you're a big part of, and where I was back in August talking about Fleetwood, and where I'll be in February talking about the reserve fixture, and both of us on the title charge.
Well, fingers crossed, Nappers. Yeah, so we have the Stacey West podcast, which is a Lincoln City-based podcast from my guy called Gary, who's a journalist, and Ben. They sort of do a pod every week, but I have my own sort of preview show where we get opposition fans on, like Nappers. He's made a hat-trick of appearances, so the match ball will be in the post for Nappers sort of at some stage soon. But we're looking to get a Bowers and Pitsy fan on ahead of this weekend's FA Cup game. Obviously, it's a massive game for a little club like that. It's a bit strange that we are someone's big day out. But yeah, we're bringing all sorts of stuff. There's a blog you can read all sorts about where I contribute as well. And we're going to be doing a review show, I think probably starting after the international break. But yeah, it's all good stuff. The Stacey West podcast. Make sure if you want to listen to it, feel free to. It's all Lincoln City based, and yeah, we're looking forward to having some new listeners hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for all the support, guys. Just leave your comments and kind of questions down below about football, about League One, about anything you like. We've got about 10 minutes left. The support on the channel this season has been amazing. We have accumulated over 60,000 views on Matchday Vlogs, and we've got over 900 subscribers. So already there, you've got the capacity of the Emirates and what Fleetwood get at home probably. So it's been an absolutely incredible season so far. Again, where do you honestly see Plymouth finishing this season? Up the Argyle. Now, Plymouth, I'll be honest with you, I said they needed to rectify what they were bad at last season. That was defensively. I thought they were kind of dumb and dumber, or the back four from the tweenies in there last year. I think because he had 81 goals, which was the second most in League One behind Rochdale, who conceded 92 or 93 goals in the end. They conceded 5 to Fleetwood, 5 to Rochdale. They just had to stop conceding goals. They brought some good leaders in there. Wilson, I think, is a good fit. Macaulay Gillespie. But they also kept that front team. Ryan Hardy stayed. Luke Jeff got scored. I know we went in a bit of a drought towards the end of the season, but he is back, and you can't keep goal scorers out for very long. You kept Conor Grant, Brandon Galloway. You've got a great squad there. And for me, it is a small squad, but small squads don't mean anything. It's a unique group. Everyone loves each other. You buy into it, and you just fight for each other. Ryan Lowe's a Scouser. He's from a kind of a tough background, and it is United. And we stick together. We go again. We forget about the result. The 24-hour rule from 3 o'clock Sunday. It's back to work on the next game. I honestly don't see why Argyle cannot at least finish in their playoff, because they've got goals, they've got flair, they've got goals from midfield, they've got a good defence, they've got a good manager, they've got good supporters, by the way, who are the 12th man. Incredible support the other day. They sold out Home Park. More of that, please. Broom in midfield's been an absolute revelation, I feel. They nicked him late on in the window. But again, brilliant for me. And I honestly believe this Plymouth side, what they may lack in talent compared to Rotherham, Wigan, Sunderland, they make up for abundance and never say die attitude. And that can count for a lot. And that, for me, is key to everything, Jake.
Yeah, I think Plymouth are the Lincoln City of last year. No one's expected them to be where they are.
Yeah, there's always one.
Season. Yeah, exactly. And it was us last year. I think Plymouth will finish in the top 6. I don't think they'll get promoted purely because of know-how. You've got teams up there that have done it before. You've got your Wigans, your Rotherhams, your Sunderlands, your Sheffield Wednesdays potentially, who are going to be up there as well and have a bit more know-how. Even Oxford United, who are finishing in playoffs sort of the last 2 years. Really like the Plymouth squad. Like you sort of glossed over it really well. They're one of the best teams Lincoln have played. I've seen Lincoln play this year. Really impressed with sort of the front two, and the relentlessness of Ryan Hardy is going to cause so many problems. But I think the January window is going to be massive for Plymouth. Where they're sat at the minute, top of the table, they'll have their pick of players who they want to bring in over the window. And if they get that recruitment right, I can see them finishing in the playoffs. If they get it wrong, I can imagine they'll lose a little bit of ground and sort of finish between 7th and 8th, around there. But really liking what I'm seeing. I'm gonna stick my neck out and say they'll finish in the playoffs at the minute.
I personally believe it's a start of a 3-year process. I said it's the same for Lincoln. They just need to stick by them. There are going to be bad times this season for Plymouth. There are going to be a couple of games where they don't score, or they go 3 or 4, maybe where they lose or draw, and it's frustrating. And they have players out, they have a little bit of an injury. But it's how good teams react, and good teams always are good over 46 games. Not the best over 16 games. It's always the best over 46 games. For me, more than likely, probably you. Do I think Joe Garner will start tomorrow? I do. I reckon it'll be Caird in goal. I think it'll be Danny Andrew, James Hill, Max Clark. Then I think he'll play 5 at the back. This is what annoyed me. He'll probably, I could see him going back for me. So he'll probably go Hill, Max Clark, Tom Clark, Andrew and Johnson on the wing backs. Then midfield 3 of Biggins, Batty, Matete. Matete's been unplayable the last few games. And up from Joe Garner and Callum Morton. I don't think Paddy Lane will start. I don't think Shane Morris will be fit enough to start. But you've got players off the bench as well. What do you reckon of J. Neil Bennett? Obviously signed for CREWE. He went to my school. Again, a bit of a flair player, but at CREWE at the moment, it really is hard to lighten it up, isn't it, Jake? Because they are in a bit of a bad way, and you're not really noticing maybe those stars that have been there in the past and who are there now.
Yeah, I think you could even put Charlie Kirk in this CREWE side, and he'd struggle, wouldn't he? So J. Neil Bennett, I'm not going to claim to have seen him play because I've not really watched much of CREWE so far this year. But if he's a flair player like you sort of described, I think he's going to struggle in a team that need to play backs to the wall football in order to survive this year.
I agree. Where Forest going to finish? I reckon about where they are now. This bunch of players are snakes, in my opinion. They turned on Lamucci. They turned on Hewitt. They'll turn on Cooper at some stage as well. Roy Keane said it about United players about all, and he's been spot on. Leopards do not change their spots. It isn't an okay squad, but there's so many more consistent squads, condensed squads. They'll be where they are now, and for me, I just
You're
can't
welcome
think of
for
any better
Johnson.
to do, Jay.
You are welcome. You're welcome for Brennan Johnson, lads. I can't see Forest finishing in the playoffs. And I can see Johnson hopefully getting a move up to the Premier League sooner rather than later because you don't deserve him, to be frank.
Absolutely. Wigan are bringing a sellout away crowd. Could be more Wigan fans in the ground than Fleetwood.
Well, to be fair, Ben, if I'm honest, Ben, sorry to jump in, but I was really disappointed with the Wigan fans last Tuesday. 8,000 for a team that were... I know there's Man United and City. I know.
Away from him, they're quite well, aren't they?
It's disappointing. They were really quiet as well, so I don't know what's going on with them.
But away, you just know they're going to bring an absolute good amount as well. The mighty Tig. I tell you, there is going to be a video, not necessarily about that. It's going to be one player that I believe can play in the Championship in the next few years from each club. And, I don't really want to go for one of those because I think some players maybe not played in the Championship, some team that maybe haven't, but best player, that is... For me, what I want in a player, I want a player that's good back. I'm going to go for Michael Smith. And there's a reason for this. I mention in every video, without fail, how the centre forward for both teams are. I mentioned against Burton, he did it well. Hold the play, come to the halfway line, bring it down, passes it to a midfielder to drive forward, run forward, play forward, which is pivotal in the team for me. Midfielders have got to do that. Michael Smith does that, brings it in, passes it to someone that can play, like Brian Clough would say, and get into the box and score a header, get in the box, score a scrambly goal, can score from outside the box. Very good back to goal. I think he's already got the same amount of goals this season as he did last season. He's an exceptional talent, and for me, what you want in a team, a goal scorer that's going to score 20, 25 goals a season, and Michael Smith in League One is that exact man. What about you, Jack?
Michael Smith was my bet, but if I was going to say one based on, current ability and the way that he's playing now, I would put O'Reilly forward at MK Dons. I know it's a bit of a left field pick, but he's really crucial, isn't he, for the way that they want to play, the passing football, the progressive passing football that they play under Manning. And, he scored this weekend as well, which shows that he's getting further forward and helping contribute that way. But I think Michael Smith is clearly the obvious one at the minute. I just said O'Reilly just to be a bit different.
Oh, right. He's a very bold choice, and I do like him. I think he ticks everything. And you've got a lot of players. Your Apollons, your Scott Twines, your Stocktons. There's so many players.
Scully.
Yeah, Scully, Shaden Morris, Jay Mattetti. You've got a lot of good players, a lot of good, young, exciting players in League One. It's the best it has been. And there are so many goals. If you look at how many goals, there's so many teams that have scored over 20, but also conceded over 20 already this season. So it's unbelievable. And it is jumpers for goalposts, and long may it continue. Your thoughts on Macaulay Bonne, exceptional striker. I was watching a few of his running stats and watching him without the ball the other day as well. Just a few small clips. And I like the way that he cuts inside, and I like the way he kind of sits off, but can also press as well. There's a lot of layers to his game, I'd say. And if he doesn't score, you're going to get a huge shift out of him. And I think he's a superb player, and he wants to be there. as well. The reason why our atmosphere was so poor that night was because that was showing issues with ticketing and stuffing loads of fans in out the atmosphere. And yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But again, you'll be well supported tomorrow. Luke Jeff got Scott Twine. Two that happily pay money to watch. Absolutely, I agree. Scott Twine for me is one of the best, if not the best, attacking player in League One. It was magic last year when he went out on loan to Newport, and it was magic when he came back. I think he scored 14 goals last season in all competitions. Hi, Besby. Thank you very much, everyone. 13 to 10 wins exactly. Big result that the other day for Wigan Athletic. And again, you look at kind of the away from that, you know, Wigan Athletic have done so well away from 15 points this season, all coming in the last 5. Rotherham on 13, Wigan 13, MK Dons 12, Plymouth 12. But home form this season is going to be pivotal to who goes down, isn't it, and who goes up this year. Look at it, CREWE have only got 5 points at home this season, Jake, and it has been a real reason why they struggled. Wimbledon, Charlton, Fleetwood and Gillingham all in that bottom 5 this season. It was the push now. We asked you about 6 weeks ago, and asked you again, who the 4 are going down this year?
Oh, God. Right, okay.
And I'll give my pour in a minute.
CREWE and Doncaster, I think, are pretty down there. Shrewsbury, from what I've seen, really disappointed me on the weekend. Just didn't really offer anything going forward. So that's 3. God, this is difficult, isn't it? The thing is, I said Burton last time. I have no idea why I said Burton. I can see Fleetwood getting out of it. I was about to delete it.
It's a good one. You made up for it.
Just about. I think it's gonna. It's gonna be Wimbledon. Wimbledon are gonna go down this time. Go on.
And we'll come back to it. We'll compare CREWE and Doncaster. For me, unless Doncaster change their manager, CREWE will go regardless. I think Morecambe will go down. I just think goals change games and they concede a lot of them. And I'd like to see them stay up. Wimbledon won't go down. I reckon Shrewsbury. I like the manager. I like Cottrell. But for me, Fleetwood will be fine. Charlton will be fine. Gillingham will be fine. I have never been as sure in my life that Fleetwood will stay up this year. And I know what I've just said will probably end up in EFL videos that lead to unfortunate events. I know I've said that, but we'll be absolutely fine this year. I've seen enough of us this year. In every game bar the Burton game, we have deserved at least a point. So for me, I think Fleetwood will stay up. That has come. Is it biased? It probably is. But 14 games, we played 10 of the top 12. And then the other 2 teams that, you know, they played Cambridge, got a point. Cheltenham, you know, won that game of football. They played CREWE and won it. So for me, I am not worried just yet. And Portsmouth that they lost to. So I'm not worried just yet. I think those will go down. If we was going for our top 6 though, Jake,
yeah,
going on to better things. This is where, you know, we start getting threats in the comments. For me, I'll start from me. I will come to you. Oxford will stay in there. You know, I like the way they played. 27 points after 15. They only had 14. They only had 13 points in the last 15 last year. They'll be in. Sunderland will be in there. I'm not going to see order in the playoffs. Oxford, Plymouth will be in the playoffs. Wycombe will be in the playoffs. And Sunderland will be in the playoffs. And my top 2...
Lincoln and Fleetwood.
This is hard. Rotherham and Wigan, I think. I'm going for the same top 6 now, but in a different order. I think Rotherham and Wigan will get my top 2. I hate seeing MK Don, Sheffield Wednesday, and Ipswich are the 3 teams that really will push that top 6. Really are on my back, and I want to put them in the playoffs. But those 6 teams are just a bit more consistent. And then you've got your next bracket in your Burtons, your Accringtons, your Boltons, your Portsmouths. Then you've got your mid bracket. Then you've got your bottom 6 bracket. What are you saying? Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
I think I've got the same. Well, I haven't actually. I've got one change. I've got Oxford out and MK in.
Ooh,
I just think
those two sides I'm very interested to watch.
Yeah, I just think MK have just got the unpredictable about them, whereas I don't know, there's just something about that squad and the fact that Russell Martin leaving has done absolutely nothing for them. And
It spurred them
yeah,
on, really.
I've gone MK 6th, I've gone Sunderland 5th, Plymouth 4th, Wigan 3rd, and then Wickham 2nd and Rotherham 1st.
Yeah, I can see that. MK Dons, Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday, and Ipswich. They are all. I think it's going to be 4. I think it's going to be 5 teams between Plymouth, Oxford, MK Dons, Sheffield Wednesday, and Ipswich, fighting 2 positions all season. For me, Wigan, Wickham, Rotherham, Sunderland, they'll be in the top 6 for me. I think those sides overall, good managers, good squads, will be fine. It's just that other bracket. I can't see anyone else get into that bracket. I can't see Bolton in it now. I can't see Lincoln in it. I can't see Accrington in it over the course of a 46-game season. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think before we head off. Please like. We're 12 likes away from 40. If you could give this stream a like. Oh, don't worry, we're in full voice tomorrow, so you can Bolton get battered everywhere they go. But now, do not start with that. I am no way. He is doing a very good job in embargo. Come back to me in 5 games' time. Who else could do a better job than him right now? You know, he changed that game the other day, James. Shading is very fast, yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the show. Fantastic stream, Ben. Really enjoyed Jake's and King's contributions as well. Scary much, I agree with Jake. You must have them both on again soon. Jake is going to be a regular over the season. He's a good lad, and again, we will be having him in the vlog when Lincoln come and maybe be a bit worse for wear after the Friday antics. I think if this will get promoted, I'm going to score every game. Love it. Anyway, guys, that is the end of today's stream. Over an hour. Thank you very much for the continued support. We'll be back with another matchday vlog tomorrow as Fleetwood host Wigan Athletic, who can go top of the table if results go their way. But they needed a win. Jake, you got anything to say before we end the show?
Up the imps. That's pretty much it, mate. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely no problem at all. Until next time, up the cards.
Cheers, guys.
Up the cards.